Hello and welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Matt. That's Christy. That's Alonso.
Hi.
Hello.
We are all insanely busy, and yet I made them come all the way to my house in the valley.
No, I actually requested that we do it at your house today. This
somebody
is my request.
Somebody from New York who's coming to visit me, or is coming to visit and do some work in Culver City, said, "Are you guys close to Culver City?" And I said, "No." I said, I'm in North Hollywood. And he's like, "How far is that?" And I said, "Well, imagine it's like Queens compared to Manhattan." And he was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, the thing is, you look at it on the map and it just says 4 miles. I think people are like,
Right.
"Oh, well, that's nothing."
Right.
Like, eh.
There's those days that you'd be faster walking. Anyway, so first up, we're going to talk about The Gentleman, the latest from Guy Ritchie. Who would like to describe this Guy Ritchie picture?
You want to?
Sure. Okay.
I'll do the turning. You do this.
Okay, sure. All right. So Hugh Grant is a rapaciously gay tabloid journalist who recounts to Charlie Hunnam the many intricacies involved with marijuana kingpin Matthew McConaughey and his efforts to sell out of the business and go legit. And Grant is basically offering to have McConaughey buy his silence. And this is one of those typically labyrinthine Guy Ritchie affairs with double crosses and misdirects and whatnot that also involve Henry Golding as an up and coming gangster, Colin Farrell as a boxing coach, and Jeremy Strong as a billionaire. Oh, and Michelle Dockery as McConaughey's wife. And as I said on Twitter, this is utter nonsense, and I was never not entertained.
Well, it's just I hate the phrase "return to form," but it is absolutely a return to form for
He's
Guy Ritchie.
he's playing the hits.
Yeah, it's what you want from him. Yes,
I disagree that it's totally a return to form. I mean, it's definitely the seamy side of the London underground, so to speak. London gangsters and English gangsters. But this is much more sedate than, say, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch.
Yeah.
Those movies just pummel you. They're so fast. And this one, it's like, oh, Ritchie grew up a little bit, and he's telling grown-up gangster stories. Like, it still moves.
It's more like rock and roll.
Yeah, but even then, I think rock and roll is a lot faster than this. This one felt like, okay, this one it's almost a normal movie.
Letting it breathe a
now,
little. Yeah.
that being said, I still really liked it, but it's not as frenetic as some of his other movies.
It's not, but it's as self-aware, and it's the same kind of like super stylish and verbose and loquacious gangsters, people who look like they'd be just dumb as a rock, but there's always more to them than that, and there are quirks to them. The way that the various narratives kind of overlap, and like the narration from one is playing over the other, and they're all intertwined, and some of the use of pop music, and just it's stylistically and structurally everything that you expect from him, from the best of him, like what put him on the map 20 plus years ago. But yeah, it is a little calmer, and yet it retains the sense of fun. And I love what Hugh Grant is doing. I'm enjoying late period Hugh Grant. Is he doing Michael Caine? The voice sounds like the Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon impressions of Michael Caine in the Trip movie.
Michael Caine.
I feel like he's doing
Michael
that.
Caine.
I was supposed to blow the bloody doors off. I think he's doing that.
I don't know. But he's definitely doing an accent. Like there's, you drive 20 minutes in England and they've got a completely different accent.
Or is he
happening.
doing a younger Ian McKellen?
Okay.
I don't know, but he is so aggressively flirty with a completely not interested Charlie Hunnam that I found that hilarious. There are aspects in the same way that we bring it up with Tarantino and Ritchie is very much a post-Tarantino filmmaker. There's some racial conversations where you're like, really? Okay, and but it all goes so fast, and everyone is so generally despicable that it's not like the movie is endorsing any of
And
this.
I kind of wish that Michelle Dockery's character and the women in general in this were treated a little bit better.
Yeah.
But to me, look, like you've got a lot. Clearly, the entire cast is having a hoot.
Oh yeah,
right. They're just having a grand old time in this movie. Especially Colin Farrell. I kind of would love to get a movie out of
About
that
that
Colin
character?
Farrell character.
Yeah.
And
He's
all
this-
those guys in the
he's-
matching
right.
plaid
He's-
jumpsuits.
and when you see Colin Farrell in his like Burberry tracksuit,
Yeah.
and then you realize, oh, that's why the rest of those clowns have those matching tracksuits. He's hilarious in this. This movie reinforces my desire to see Henry Golding as James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I feel like, is there maybe a James Bond kind of joke or a reference in here? Like someone's describing his character and there's like a James Bond kind of thing. I don't know, maybe I'm
don't
imagining that.
remember.
But there's clearly that kind of dashing.
Right.
I will say this:
figure.
if you're going to give me a movie about impeccably dressed, violent British a-holes, give me this over any of the Kingsman movies any day.
I mean, those are frenetic in their pacing. Those are like wannabe.
and
kind of
Well,
those-
right, because
those
Matthew
are-
Vaughn was shooting
Yes,
for.
he worked for a long
Yeah,
time.
but those also I think have a genuinely like ugly misanthropic streak that this movie doesn't quite have.
No, this is more playful. This is more light.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you think this movie is in any way trying to say anything about like marijuana legalization
Or Brexit?
Is there a Brexit thing in here?
Everything's
No.
about Brexit now.
No,
No, I
was
don't
gonna
think
say
so.
about just like the continuing legalization and like proliferation of marijuana.
I don't think it's got a message
Or is
there
that
so
just,
much as I
it's
think
part of the background.
it's part of the background, and I think it's one of the first times we've seen, maybe not the first time, but I did like how when there's a big discussion about how it's going to affect the business and the opportunity for Strong's character is,
Right.
look, you can be the guy who's got the best marijuana in the country. Even when it's legal, you've got a distribution network that's going to be better than anyone's, that we've
Right.
already set this up.
Yeah, I think the idea that within 20 years this is going to be legal, and so this underground organization gets to be an above ground organization is a plot element, but I don't think it's necessarily trying to say anything one way or the other. I think it's sort of acknowledging the inevitability of that happening.
It's context.
Exactly.
It's like relevant societal context. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think so either. I mean, clearly he's not disparaging anything that anyone's doing here. It's just
No.
like a business.
Yeah, I think I think what Ritchie, in these movies, generally, it's more about like betrayal is the true crime. Like that. If people are on the hustle or they deal
Right.
drugs or whatever, like that's one thing. But it's the betrayal that is the thing that cannot be forgiven.
The honor among thieves
Exactly.
being broken. Yeah, no, I do like Michelle Dockery in this because I think we think of her from Downton
As Lady
Abbey
Mary.
and
Yeah.
being so refined. I love she's doing like kind of a Cockney accent. She's trying to do like a polished Cockney accent.
Yeah.
Like she's worked really hard
To
to
be-
make her accent sound that respectable.
Yes, like it's posh with an effort. She did what was that show that she had on TBS or TNT where she was like,
I didn't see it.
it was like it wasn't that much fun, but it was fun to watch her playing like a criminal, and so like she is dying to be in something that doesn't involve like an impure waste and a string of pearls. So.
Yeah, I would watch a series, maybe a mini series about her running that garage.
Oh yeah, no,
Right.
I wanted to know so
And
much
then
about the garage.
I would
Lady
also
Mechanics.
Yeah.
and then I would also watch a series about the boxers.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Colin
Yeah,
Farrell and
yeah.
his band of misfits.
Yeah, he was so funny in this.
Just that's the whole scene at the food counter where he just is not having it with the young hoodlums.
Yeah.
That's just hysterical.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the fun things about this movie is you get to see people that aren't doing enough comedy,
Yeah.
and we know Colin Farrell can be funny. We've seen him do comedy before, but it is one of those times where I think where you see him, and I at least think, God, please put him in more comedies. He is so fun.
And Charlie Hunnam, I have to say, first broke out with the original Queer as Folk, and I thought he was great on that. Lately, I have found him kind of annoying in movies like King Arthur and Lost City of Z and Papillon. But like this one, he's kind of the exposition dump guy, but he finds notes in there to play that are fun.
Right. And also, well, those are all kind of dull roles. Those are like the roles that he took to be taken seriously as a
Sure,
film
yeah.
actor. And here, even though this is a comedy, he's not one of the comic
Right,
figures.
he's like the straight guy
He's
in
the
it.
straight
Yeah.
guy.
No
but
pun intended.
But that's a tough spot to be in as well. And he's playing off of Hugh Grant, who is so broad.
But
he
he's-
knows to be where he is in respect.
Exactly.
To that.
He's giving Hugh Grant something to play off of,
Yeah.
which is shrewd. And yeah, the fact that he doesn't have to be the star here, that he doesn't have to be funny here, but he knows the what he's serving in this mess of things. Yeah, it's nonsense, but I had a good time. That's pretty much what it boils
That is
down
a
to.
good way to phrase it. I agree.
Okay,
I'm saying 7.3.
7.2.
7.5.
Our number is 7.3. I don't know where it is in the tomato meter because I didn't look that up.
Neither did I. It's not my
You're-
job anymore.
You're probably listening or watching this on a computer. You go look it up.
You can look it up, but it's somewhere in that range. It's doing well, I think. Anyway, so that is out. So please go see that.
Indeed. And hey, thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on social media at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Lots of fun stuff happening over there. Our members voted, and the Disney Plus movie that we're talking about this week is Freaky Friday, the original with Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris. We're talking about HBO's The Outsider. Are we doing? Is Lynch pop?
We're gonna do well. That's for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The David
those
Lynch
are the two
movies
things
for
we're doing
everybody.
this
All right, we're doing the David Lynch short for everybody. So you come back to see us for that one. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.